Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Relatively Gaming Podcast. I am Turn-Based TJ, aka TJ, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Enigma 9011, aka Brett. How you doing today, Brett?
Doing good, glad, and excited for the weekend. How are you, good sir?
Also excited for the weekend. That's fantastic. So let's just jump straight into the news. What kind of news do you have for us today, Brett? Actually, before we jump into the news, I lied there. If you haven't seen this show before, we talk about all things relatively gaming and things that are sometimes not gaming. Um, Also coming up tomorrow, I believe, actually it won't be tomorrow when we
Yeah,
this
we get into
airs,
that
but
weird, weird gray area. Um, so I'll swipe it from here because I know what you're doing. And I appreciate it. So we got Extra Life coming up. I talked about it last week. We got the main show coming up on November 28th and 29th. Oh boy, I think it's going to be 28 hours of gaming total. Trying to raise some money to help out kids at Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So if you hang out for an hour, two, however long you can, spread the word, donate if possible. That would be greatly appreciated. What TJ was alluding to is because this is my 10th year doing it, thought we would do something a little different, special, whatever it is. So starting tomorrow as of recording, we're going to be doing 3 extended streams, I guess you could call them. So tomorrow is going to be 12 hours of Kingdom Hearts. The week that this releases, that Saturday is going to be 12 hours of Lies of P Overture DLC. And then the following week is going to be an extended stream with like some online games with some friends. So if you want to kind of hang out before the big event, that's your chance to. You can still donate during that time if you prefer to do that, or just hang out. It'd be greatly appreciated. TJ, back to you. And thanks.
yeah. No, thank you for helping me out with that. I was definitely stumbling a little
No
bit.
worries.
But
It's
yeah,
weird because you're like, wait, it's this day? Oh, but this comes out that day? Yeah, it's a whole kerfuffle of stuff.
if you're watching this episode, you missed the Kingdom Hearts stream, but you can still catch the Lives of P Overture stream, which would be fantastic. I'm excited for that stream myself. That should be pretty interesting. So
Yeah,
hopefully you
hopefully
guys
we
stop
can
on
make it.
by.
Also, VOD is up at Kingdom Hearts if you're catching this live. So you can, or day it drops. So if you really want the Door to Darkness and all those wacky adventures, you go over there. Go over to twitch.tv/enigma9011.
Fantastic. And now that we've got that, what do you have for us news-wise today? I know there's one big piece of news that one of us is going to cover, but
Okay, well, let's start with it. GTA 6 has been delayed to November 19th, 2026. I don't know who broke the news, but yeah, it happened. I know a similar pattern happened with Red Dead 2. I saw somebody posting where it initially had a spring release date and then it got pushed to the fall. I know that's obviously a big title for a lot of people, so some people are going to be bummed. An element that I'm going to sprinkle in here just is like, it could be connected. It's at least connected in terms of Rockstar. I don't know if it fully attributes to the release delay. But Rockstar recently laid off a group of people. I don't know how big of a group it was. I do apologize for not having those numbers. But laid off some people, and those people are claiming it is due to union busting those layoffs. Rockstar has come forward and said it isn't because of that, and it could be because of potential leaks or talking about intimate details about the project that shouldn't be talked about in certain channels. So it's a little bit of a he said, she said situation right now. A little tense. If we get any updates, we'll try and cover it next week. But yeah, GTA delayed and some problems going on in Rockstar. After I was like, oh, they're doing great. They didn't say they're going to use AI. Now we got this stuff.
oh gosh, I did not hear the union busting rumors. I hope that those are just rumors, though. That would be pretty icky.
Yeah. Like I said, right now it's just everybody's pointing fingers at each other, which I get it. If you get laid off, you're going to be disgruntled, but you don't want to be just saying, false stuff. And then, yeah, obviously on the Rockstar side of things, you can't let people go because of what they're trying to do if it is the union side. So, oof. Yeah, we'll have to see. Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Developing story.
Yes. And then we got one more piece of bummer news, at least on my end. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra has been delayed out of early 2026. So TJ, taught you about this game a few weeks ago. It was the Captain America Black Panther game that's coming out. So that's been delayed out of early 2026. I don't think they have some, like GTA has a date. I don't think they have an ETA just yet. So we'll have to see what they're doing over there. I think it's Skydance. I'll look it up as you're going through your news. But yeah, that's delayed. So that's a bit of a bummer.
I was kind of excited to see that this game was delayed because I was like, oh my God, they're still working on it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I
great.
guess that's better than just outright. Oh, it's we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was still happening or not because it was pretty quiet, all quiet on the Western Front with a lot of the development of that game. So I
Right.
was glad to see some type of news, even if it was the unfortunate delay.
Mm-hmm. Sticking with the Marvel train, PlayStation is happy with their partnership with Insomniac and says it's been a dream working with them. So they're going to continue working on Marvel projects with Insomniac. What those will be, who knows? There's been rumors of a Venom game with the leaks and the Wolverine stuff with the reveal trailer showing Mystique and whatnot. Maybe we'll get some X-Men stuff. Maybe we'll get some other characters. Who knows? But it seems like Insomniac will keep holding on to that license, or they'll be working together in collaboration for projects down the road, which I'm personally happy about. Not that I want them to be stuck only with Marvel stuff. Like, if everybody's happy and they're all feeling really jazzed about it, cool. But I don't want them to be shoehorned, if that makes sense, and be like, nope, it's the only thing you're making is Marvel stuff
Right.
now. And then last piece of news that I have, Pokemon ZA DLC had a bit of a reveal. I think it was Wednesday of this week. So they showed off new Pokemon that are going to be added to the DLC. Also in the Mega Dimension DLC that it's being called, you can now level your Pokemon past level 100. And it also now has a release date of December 10th. So not too far into the future. Yeah.
Yeah, just around the corner, right around the time Metroid Prime 4 gets announced. So,
I
or
think they had
gets
a new
released.
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, so good time to be a Nintendo fan.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of good time to be a Nintendo fan, Nintendo says that the Mario and Zelda movies are not going to be the only movies they make,
Oh.
that these are going to be just the first steps. So they haven't revealed any concrete plans, but they're pretty excited about the live action Zelda movie coming out in 2027 and the Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out next year with everybody's favorite Chris Pratt. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job, but yeah.
No, he did. I was making fun of the announcement.
Sure.
They're like,
But what?
it was like, hold on a second. Yeah. I'm excited to see that Miyamoto is working alongside of the director from Illumination Studios to work with the Mario movie and stuff. So I'm actually really excited for that Super Mario Galaxy movie. I think it looks pretty good. I enjoyed the Mario. Did you see the Mario movie?
Oh yeah, Mario movie was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was great, especially when there was like that gameplay sequence in the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
movie. I thought that was really cool. What a cool way to pay homage to the games. Um, Speaking of cool games, though, I thought you would have brought this one to the table for sure. Dispatch sells over 1 million copies in
Oh,
10 days.
fantastic! Wow, damn, good for them.
Yeah, they really crushed it out of the park. I hear that there's more, what is it, chapters that they do, episodes?
Yeah, so they've been doing 2 episodes per week. So I think this week, as of recording, was episodes 7 and 8, which might be the finals, or next week is. I've heard a lot of good things. I've heard a lot of people are enjoying it heavily. But yeah, I missed that piece of news. But yeah, congrats to them. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you said that it's kind of like a Telltale style game.
Yep, Telltale narrative, so a lot of choice interactions throughout the thing. I was listening to Shout Out to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. They were talking about their experience, and I guess there's 2 modes that you can play, or setting. It's a setting you can play. You can either set it cinematic, which you're just directly doing like the dialogue options and whatnot, or you can play it, I don't know if there's a fancy name, normal, where there's going to be QuickTime events also involved. So most of it is going to be those narrative decisions and those relationships and whatnot. But then there's also the sub game I talked about a few weeks ago inside of it, where you are that dispatch agent sending heroes to certain crimes, certain emergencies based on their skill sets and whatnot, and you got to send them out. But yeah, for nothing good things.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to check this game out.
Yeah.
They said even though story games are not usually my cup of tea. If I was gonna give one a chance, Dispatch seems like the one to go with for
Mm-hmm,
sure.
mm-hmm.
Um, Speaking of which, Dispatch sounds like it would be a great game to play on the Steam Deck, which leads me to my next piece of news where the Steam Deck adds the ability to download games with the display off as of November 4th, which was
Hmm.
not a feature before. You had to leave the display on the entire time the game was downloading.
Wow.
Uh,
I had no idea.
which is weird. People complained about it for screen tear and other issues like that, and just battery drainage and stuff.
Right.
Um, so I'm glad they finally added that feature. Seems like they should have had that from the hop, but it is what it is. And then lastly, I've got a little bit of a bummer news, kind of a downer, some corporate stuff, but the anti-piracy group in Japan called CODA, which represents companies like Square Enix, Bandai Namco, and From Software, made an official request to OpenAI to cease and desist because they
Oh,
allege that they're using their stuff in Sora. I don't know if you've seen the Sora app at all. It's like an AI
this is like
video
generative art or
generator.
whatever. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like a video generator, social media
yeah. Mm-hmm.
platform thing. It's
Okay.
very weird. One of my friends really likes Sora, but it is a very bizarre platform for sure.
Ooh, boy. Triggered. I mean, I don't know. It's a bummer because AI is shitty. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. But good. I've seen a bunch of companies come forward, especially with this Sora thing, just in passing. Like I haven't read into it, but like coming forward being like, hey, don't use our shit and stuff like that. And I think more companies need to be fighting back, more personalities, more estates, because like the only experience I have is lovely Facebook, people sharing like AI videos there, and being a wrestling fan, I'm seeing like a lot of people like hypothetically in wrestling things, so like Mr. Rogers in there and Michael Jackson and stuff, and I'm like, while funny, it's like this looks, it still looks messed up from time to time, but it's like if we just keep letting this go, like it lets that fear kind of crawl in of like, this is fucked up. I mean, even on the South Park side of things with the AI with, he who shall not be named, like funny, but also like, yeah, that looked looked pretty legit, So like,
Yeah.
just it's creepy and disgusting. So glad they're taking a stand on it. Ugh. Fuck you, Sora. Not Kingdom Hearts Sora.
Yeah, no, wrong Sora. As I said with our first guest Charlie, and I don't know if this was off or on the podcast, it all kind of blurs together.
Right.
But now that we've gotten older, I'm always kind of in the perspective of like where are things gonna look in like 5 or 10 years from now, technology wise. And yeah, AI right now doesn't really scare me, but like in 5 or 10 years, I'm like, I don't. What is 2030 Mr. Rogers in the WWE gonna look like? It's probably gonna look pretty darn good, and that's a little worrying.
Right. I mean, technology, like, obviously we've seen it in our lifetime, explodes in exponential growth. I mean, we didn't think we would have a calculator or a computer in our pocket all the time, and we do now have that. And there's a lot of other things that obviously have improved in a short amount of time. So this is another element like that. Now, granted, it could, and I hope it's going to be a bubble burst thing like that NFT thing that was all the craze, a few years back, not that long ago.
Mhm.
But obviously we're not at that point where the bubbles burst. So it's like, yep, it's just we're here pumping the the balloon up, and it's that tension of until it goes.
Yeah, we're playing Mario Party, Bowser Bubble Pop or whatever it's
Exactly.
called.
Exactly.
Oh wow, yeah, and yeah, at least there are companies like this Coda or this organization, I should say, in Japan. They're trying to fight back a little bit, claw back some of their IP. So hopefully that goes through and works out well.
Hmm.
Uh,
Just to
on a
circle
more
back
fun,
real quick,
sure.
I did look it up. The Marvel 1943, it is Skydance Interactive as the studio. So there you go, people.
Okay, Skydance Interactive. Well, I'm excited to see what Skydance can pull out. Um, but that's a game I hope to play in the future. What games are you playing right now?
What a guy! What a guy! Everybody's sick of me talking about Ball Pit, but I'm gonna talk about Ball Pit again because it kicks ass, dude. I am on the precipice of beating it. I have finished technically all the levels, but it seems like to roll credits, you need to beat that last level with a certain amount of characters. My guess is 8 based on a certain visual thing they kind of show you. No spoilers. So I plan on doing that either tonight or Sunday this weekend. So I'll be beating that and then working towards the platinum. But I've just been absolutely loving it. I can't recommend this game enough. For those of you guys who prefer your Switches, I believe it comes out later this month on Switch, if that's your platform of preference. So heads up there. But TJ, I'd like to talk about a game that you brought to the table and we're very excited about. I've played a few hours of Absolum today.
Nice.
I'm really enjoying it. The art style is fantastic. I think that's what has my attention the most, is seeing all the different character animations that's going on and the art of the world as I'm running through. I will say this feels like a lot of roguelikes where it is roguelite, excuse me, where it's very punishing at the beginning. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting a little frustrated. I was like, it's not catching on, and I died quite quickly. But also, like many roguelites, once you kind of get the ball rolling, you kind of learn the mechanics and whatnot, the momentum grows. I don't think, granted, I don't know the grand scheme of the game, I don't think I've made it super duper far based on the map that they give you and they show your progress after each run. I feel like I'm a third of the way there, but obviously I don't know. Maybe that map is only one section. Maybe there's more. Who knows? Time will tell. I played a lot of Galandra to begin.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, she's fantastic. I liked her sword abilities. So I had a good time with her. I did switch to Carl towards the end, and I just want to shout out Carl, or rather the sound design around Carl, because both characters, their base attacks are melee based, so punching, kicking, elbowing, etc., stuff like that. Then they have a special ability which uses like a weapon that they have, and then they have an R2 ability which once you charge up your mana bar, you can then use it, and it's like a special attack. When using Carl, holy crap, those punches and the impact of his punches sounds so meaty and like so impactful. I was like, damn, I'm laying in this shit right now, and I absolutely loved it. So just big shout out to the sound design for him and the impact of his strikes. Just really, really loved it. So yeah, only maybe 2 hours into it so far, but I am really enjoying it. Like I said, the art style is the thing that stands out for me. And as I'm kind of gradually learning the mechanics, like that dodge and parry, that took me a while. Once I got that down and the timing, I'd say that's a big part of the game, is like timing when you're going to dodge and that deflection. Once you get that down and maybe realize, hey, I need to be a little bit more patient for a beat 'em up, I think that's when the strides really kick in and go from there, or you can make decent progress. So I'm enjoying it a lot. I have met the third character. She hasn't joined me officially, but I've seen her running around. So once I get her and then the others, I'll be intrigued to see who I gravitate towards, I guess, as a main. But yeah, been having a good time with it.
That's great. I'm glad you said that about the defensive parts, because that's I too was hitting a wall early on. I actually couldn't even beat the first boss in the forest, the giant orc troll thing.
Garog, yeah, I beat him today, but yeah.
Yeah, he was giving me a really hard time. I couldn't beat him for some reason when I first started the game, and I just was not utilizing the defensive moves in the game at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say, for a beat 'em up, the defensive moves are like very important in that game.
Yeah, and I appreciate that they did that, because it makes it different than other beat 'em ups where you're just like, I'm gonna run in and smash this one button over and over and over again. You know, I like that they made it a little bit different, where, you know, not Souls, but Souls, you can do a little strategy going into it, or sometimes you need it, of like, okay, watch the attack patterns. This is when I'm gonna do this. This is when I'm gonna do that. Absolum kind of has that, where you're watching the animation. Okay, now I need to dash in. That will parry or deflect it, and then I can go in with an attack, punish them, stun them, do even more damage, and go from there. And then there's also like unblockable moves. So, oh shit, can't do this one. Or I could do something different. I think it's like Crash is what it's called, which is like a different timing. So you can play
Mhm.
around with those and get used to it, but it expands just instead of, punching away at the bad guys. Makes it a little different.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed. Did you get the demo, or did you went full in?
No, I went full balls deep because you recommended it so much. I had it. I wish listed on PlayStation probably after our second episode of talking about it. And then PlayStation has a pretty good sale going on right now, which I guess was another piece of news I forgot. Mortal Kombat fans, you can get Mortal Kombat X 11 and 1 as a package for $80. Okay, sorry. But they had a good deal. So Absolum wasn't on sale, but there was two other titles, Slay the Spire, which I know you've redeemed for stream. So I was like, oh, I'll grab it now while it's on sale. And the first Resident Evil were both very inexpensive. So I got those and Absolum just because I kind of wanted something as I was finishing up Ball Pit to kind of fill in that slot. So I was like, oh, this sounds great. And I've really enjoyed the talks from you about it and some other people. So I was like, yeah, I'll give this a try.
Oh, well, I'm glad you gave it a try on my recommendation. That makes me feel happy. I hope you enjoy it. Happy gaming. It is
Thank you.
definitely a ride. And funnily enough, I was actually going to redeem Resident Evil 1 if I didn't do Slay the Spire
All right.
on your stream. So that works out that you got Resident Evil 1, the remake, I'm assuming, the GameCube remake.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, that game's incredible. The PlayStation 1 game, not so much. It's a little rough. In my opinion, at least.
Sure.
It's a classic. It's a classic. Anything else you've been playing? Or those have been the main games you've been really
No,
hammering
those have
home?
been the main two. I mean, I've had the stream games, so we made a lot of progress in Hades last night. I reached, I think, the final boss of the upper area Olympus run, and oh boy. Um, and then just this game gives you more and more and more each time. When you even think like, okay, I think I've discovered everything, met all the characters, it's like, nope, here's some more. Here's some more cool things. So yeah, I'm just appreciating that. But that's been the only other thing. It's mainly been Ball Pit taking my time.
Which is totally fair. I have to, like you gave Absalom a try based off of my recommendation. I might have to actually give Ball Pit a shot. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a
There's a demo,
demo
isn't
on it.
there?
I think so. There was at least for Steam Next Fest. But yeah, and that's where I played it for Steam. So I would assume they would have to keep that up, or probably would be a smart idea to bring that up, keep that up.
Yeah. I have been playing two games that do not have demos, but the first one, circling back to Rockstar, I've been playing a little game called Red Dead Redemption 1.
Hell yeah.
Um, just the original one, playing it on Switch. I will say on Switch, I'm playing on the Switch Lite. Man, sometimes that trying to find somebody all the way across a canyon when you're shooting with a rifle is a little hard to see.
Mm,
But otherwise, it is such a phenomenal game. I forgot how much I loved that first Red Dead Redemption game. For some reason, the second one didn't click with me
okay.
as much when I tried to play it, but I remember really, really digging the first one, getting into it. I remember like feeling emotions, like sad about the ending of that game. I don't remember exactly what happened in the ending of the game, but I remember it was sad.
I
I remember
do.
the emotions it gave me. Yeah. So it's been great because I've forgotten everything, just that I like it. So I've just been enjoying going through and playing that. And man, does it still look good? I mean, I was riding on the horse with the sun setting low and everything, and I was like, this game still holds up. Even on the Switch, it looks really, really good.
Nice.
So I've been enjoying my time with Red Dead Redemption.
Did you ever, when you first played it, did you ever do Red Dead Online?
I never did Red Dead Online, nor did I ever do Undead Nightmares. So
Okay.
there's a couple of things I'm missing out on.
Yeah, I never did Undead Nightmares. I've heard good things, but never did that. But Charlie, who you alluded to earlier, him and I, we were both very into Red Dead when it came out, and we played Red Dead Online, and it's essentially just the same map as base Red Dead, and it's just free roam. You could do different bounties. You can tackle different like encampments and bases similar to how you do in the base game. But we would always there was one that was like a base, I believe in the Mexico area, that was like on a mountain, and it was like an old war base or whatever, but they had like cannons up there, and we would always like battle people to keep like possession of that base. So chaotic. And then I'll tell a quick funny story if you don't mind.
Sure.
So as you had your character, you could level up your character and you can unlock new guns and different mounts and whatnot. So we were playing online, and we just had our whatever horses, I don't know, but like the horses, you can unlock different ones that had different speeds or whatever. And eventually you could start unlocking like bison and buffalo and like fancier, not, typical mounts. Well, we were playing online once, and we just were, trotting along, doing whatever. And there's this guy that's zooming up on us. And we're like, man, he's going really fast. What kind of horse is that? From a distance. And then all of a sudden he just boosts, like zooms past us. And we're like, was that a fucking zebra? And we both just turn and like, holy shit! And we try and chase him down. He just kept booking it. Apparently that was like one of the last mounts you could get. It was insane. But it was just, I remember that very fondly of how much we were laughing. Of like, there's a fucking zebra running around.
That's awesome. I'm kind of sad that I missed out on Red Dead Online. Then that sounds like it was a great
It was
time.
a good time. It's one of those. It's similar to GTA Online before they had like all the heists that they do now. It's very dependent on your creativity and like the people you're playing with. Because if you're not like, yeah, let's do this and let's pretend this or whatever, it's like, just like there's not too much to it. So.
Yeah, I didn't know you had such a rich history with the first Red Dead Redemption. Did you get into the second game as much, or?
So similar to you, it didn't click with me, or at least, like we talked about last week. I don't know if it was a burnout thing or if it was like, just moving on to the next thing. I thought it was very visually impressive and still do. And I've heard that it's amazing in terms of like the depth of stuff you can do with, it's not Marston because that's the first game. I don't remember. Yeah, Arthur something. Morgan.
Arthur.
There we go. We got there.
I almost said Arthur Miller, the playwright. That's not correct. No, Arthur Morgan. Yeah.
But like his journey, I think I know I've been spoiled on his story, but it seems like from a gameplay perspective and the amount of stuff that you can do, it's awesome. So it's one of my backlog of shame pieces. When I did play it, I was doing the introduction, and the introduction's very long, and it's kind of not treacherous, slow, because it's wintertime.
It's very slow. Yes.
So at that point, I was just like, and whatever else was out, I pivoted and gravitated towards that. So it's on my shame pile. Papa Griff's played it all the way through, and he absolutely loves it. So yeah, it's one I'd like to get back to eventually.
Yeah. See, maybe if I latch on to Red Dead Redemption, maybe if I keep playing it all the way through, maybe I'll go back and play the second one. But
Yeah, that was something I tried recently too, was replaying Red Dead 1. I had played it on Xbox 360 initially, and then I've repurchased it for PlayStation 4 probably. And I replayed through half of it, but that was my intention going in. It was like, okay, I'm going to replay 1, and then I'm going to go right into 2. And then what did I do? Ooh. Get distracted, go to the other thing.
play something else. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even dedicatedly playing just Red Dead Redemption 1, so who knows if I'll actually stick with it to the end.
Sure.
Because I'm also on the Switch. I got for $17 Borderlands 3. So I've been playing Borderlands 3 again, but on the Switch this time. However, I will say there is the DLC that I didn't have. I had the 4 DLC packs of like the story packs, but I didn't have the designer's cut, I think is what it's called,
Oh, okay.
which adds an extra skill tree to each of the characters
Oh,
and also adds a roguelike mode to the game
jeez. I didn't know that. Very
called
cool.
Arms Race, yeah, with Axton and Salvador
Cool.
who were like announcing for it. So I haven't gotten a chance to play that because you have to be like level 13. I'm like level 10, and I tried to play it, and I just got my ass kicked, which was not fun.
Mhm.
But I have been playing with the new skill tree, and I have been playing as Zane.
Nice.
Um, and what I liked the first time I played it was you can have two skills equipped. And so I was kind of bummed because I was like, well, when I replay this, there's only a third skill that I haven't played. But now that I have that fourth skill tree, I have two more skills that I haven't used. So now I'm able to use two new skills and still be able to use two skill slots. And it's very fun. I've been having a great time.
Good.
Still doing the same story beats, of course, though. So that's
Sure.
getting a little tiring. But the gameplay is actually surprisingly good. I gotta give a shout out to the gyro controls on Switch. I've been using a sniper rifle actually, and it's so accurate I can get headshots and everything with it
Oh,
pretty
fantastic.
consistently.
Nice.
So it's completely changed the game a little bit for me, especially because I'm using Zane's he like throws out a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you hold it and then you just like boom. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I kind of understand Splatoon players now. Uh, so it's been very fun. Been playing that even though I've played it quite a bit, I always enjoy going back through Borderlands 3. It
Mhm.
seems like just really enjoy that game.
So you said Zane
Even
was
though
throwing out a wall for one of his skill sets?
yeah, he throws out like a what do you call it, like a digi wall.
Oh,
So
okay.
it just blocks projectiles. So like psychos can still come through it and stuff, but bullets can't.
Is that his fourth one, or was that the other one you just hadn't played with?
That was the one I hadn't played with. The fourth one is actually a shoulder-mounted cannon that pops up and shoots out,
Oh.
which is pretty sick.
Mm.
Yeah, and you can get it to be like cryo or like I think it starts off as shock. It does different stuff, and that whole skill tree is based off of getting critical hits too.
Okay.
So it is a bit of a higher skill tree, or like skill level to play. So it's like, hey, if you've played the game before, here's this skill tree where you want to maximize getting critical hits. But it's pretty cool. I've really been enjoying. Feels like playing a whole new character basically. So
That's great. Nice.
yeah, and the other characters I haven't even played as like a second skill tree, let alone a third or fourth. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of content.
Were there DLC characters for 3? I can't remember.
Nope, that's what they did instead of adding DLC characters was they added the four skill tree. They did
Gotcha.
not add any extra, so it's just the four.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
But they're going back to adding characters in Borderlands 4. They said they're adding at least two more, so
Nice.
with Cash being one of them.
Hmm.
But now we're
Ash.
going to Cash. Yeah, did you see Cash? He was like a robot. He's a robot. He has like gambling mechanics or something in it, like
Oh,
luck-based mechanics.
goes with his name. No, I haven't. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, yeah, I'll bring that to the table next time. He's pretty cool. He looks pretty interesting. Looks like one of those characters again where it's like if you've played Borderlands 4 before, maybe give this character a chance. You won't be as bored because it's like RNG based.
Gotcha. Cool.
Uh, but now we're gonna go to my favorite section of the game, of the podcast, called "What are we?" We're gonna learn and talk about stuff because we're not gonna learn today. Today we're going to just talk with each other. We're gonna do 10 games that define you.
I hate
Um,
talking to each other.
yeah, especially on a podcast.
Right.
That's the
It
worst.
sucks. Ooh,
That's
games
the
that
worst.
defined.
Um, I didn't really know how to do this, so I figure we'll figure it out together on podcast right now.
Sure.
I think we should do it band for band, game for game.
Okay,
You
so
talk
one at a
about a
time.
game, I talk about a game. Yeah, we'll go back and forth. And as the ever gracious host that I am, I'll allow you to go first.
Sure. Um, so I guess for people who don't know, this is something we talked about off podcast. This is a trend that's going around. People just putting up like an image of themselves with 10 games that define them. So I have my list, but I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it because I don't think it's like your 10 favorite games. It's like, at least the way I'm interpreting it, and maybe will help explain my list. It's like games that if you're in an elevator and you got to pitch to somebody, like, what games are you into? These are the games you're going to pitch to people because maybe they clicked with you for some reason and then helped expand your library from there. But once again, probably me overthinking it. Who knows? We'll be doing lists, I'm sure, like future episodes of favorites and all this jazz. So,
I kind of took it as games that defined you.
mm-hmm.
Um, So there are some games on here that maybe are not my favorite games, or maybe not the best games, but are some games that really defined me growing up. These are games that I played that really shaped my idea about video games in general that I really latched onto.
Mm-hmm. Much better explanation than me. All right. So first one on my list, not in any particular order. These were just how I wrote them down. I said the SmackDown versus Raw series or the WWE 2K series because boy howdy, do I play a lot of these titles year after year. So yeah, as you guys know, big wrestling fan. Shocker, the wrestling fan plays wrestling video games. Who would think? But yeah, really, once I gravitated back towards wrestling in 2006, seeing friends who also had these titles, and I was like, oh crap, there's video games for this, getting into it. There was just so much like energy and time I put into those games of doing the matches, just being chaotic with, oh, I got to put people through tables. I got to throw people off of this high structure. Got to do this, got to do that. And then it's kind of molded over time with the 2K or 2K Interactive taking over and making their spin on the franchise of like comparing it to the old ones, thinking about it, I guess, a little bit more in depth, like how does this compare to the old ones, game modes that they've brought back, new modes that they've brought to the table, like the new showcase mode that they introduced being essentially their career mode, looking back highlights of like wrestlers' careers and whatnot, to then their evolution of it into the My Rise, which is just a completely brand new story using your created wrestlers and stuff like that, to a personal favorite of mine, the GM mode, where this was something of old. They've brought it back. Here's their twist on it. And then just, like I said, sinking hours and hours and hours into it. So yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to that series. Be a little weird if something I play so much wasn't in here. I'm not going to lie, TJ. I'm sure towards the end of the year, we're going to be talking about, favorite games of the year and game of the year stuff. And I used to do podcast episodes like this was my PlayStation year look back. Oh boy, I am not looking forward to seeing the numbers for 2K this year of how much time I put into it. Ew. So yeah,
There's always those games where you play a lot of, but you're not necessarily the most proud that they're skyrocketing up the hours list. You're
they
like, oh
just build
gosh.
up so fast and you don't realize it. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah.
Oh man. I think one of my most played Steam games still is like Marvel Snap, and that
Oh
always
hell
bothers me
yeah.
because I'm like, oh no, not on my Steam library, my precious Steam library. That was a good shout out. I'm glad you said a whole series. I didn't think to put a whole series on here. I just like picked one game.
Yeah,
I should have done that.
no, I was just like, I don't know if there's a specific year I could pick because, uh, yeah, just year after year, like there's a lot of blending, like all the roster changes or like there's little tweaks or whatever. But I was like, it's tough because I don't want to just be like, oh, it's only this one when they've evolved into the new studio. So, pick a game. Yeah, fidgeted. All right, broke the rules.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah, I should have chosen the series for my first game. Again, these are in no particular order, although this one should be number one with a bullet for me. It's Super Smash Brothers 64, the
Mm,
original one.
I mean,
Um,
you could tweak it to the series if you wanted to.
yeah, I could say just the whole
It's
series. I
your
do play a
list. Who
lot of
gives a
Ultimate now.
shit?
But 64 really did. I always like to joke that Super Smash Bros. 64 raised me more than my parents did. I played that game so much, um, just alone with the Nintendo 64. And now that I'm looking at my list, this is actually my only Nintendo 64 game on here, which is surprising because that was like my first system that was like ours that I could really play on. But Super Smash Bros. 64 really definitely defines me as a gamer. It introduced me to all the Nintendo properties. We're talking Pokemon. I already knew Mario, but we're talking Legend of Zelda. I played Ocarina of Time because of Super Smash Bros. I played Star Fox 64 because of Super Smash Bros. I played the Kirby games because of Super Smash Bros. And man, boy howdy do I love Kirby. I should have put a Kirby game on here now that I think about it. But yeah, just introduced me to a lot of games. I still remember being in like fifth grade, fourth grade, and like drawing a paper version of Super Smash Brothers, like
Oh, nice.
just like being obsessed with it for a while, playing it with all my friends and stuff, or like we would get back from roller skating or whatever, and it'd be like, let's play Super Smash Brothers, and like it's like, oh, this person's their character is Donkey Kong, and my character is Samus, and this character is Link, and like we all had our own characters in the neighborhood, and it was just a great time.
Mhm.
It just absolutely defines me. No list would be complete of mine without 64 on the list for sure.
Excellent shout. All right, next one. I have talked about it on the podcast before, but it's going to be Pokemon Silver. So we kind of went over it with the questionnaire. This was one of my first games that I owned, with the Game Boy Advance being my first console, as you alluded to, with 64 being yours. Um, and yeah, it was just a lot of introduction to, obviously, this being mine, managing things of like, what's your character going to be, instead of just a handoff like, yeah, you can play this for a few minutes, kind of thing. So learning the mechanics of, okay, seeing the game all the way through, the difficulties of the Elite Four as a kid, oh boy, the trials and tribulations there. um, um, and then just expanding on that being the first one, just, creating the love of Pokemon from there. It's an interesting one because going with this list, I was like, this has been, I think, the first time I've really debated what's my favorite Pokemon game. I always
Mm.
defaulted to Silver because it was the first, and it's got that nostalgia factor, or like, I don't know what you want to call it, but like it's special in that way, and it will never lose that. But then I was like, is it actually my favorite? And I think I have a contender now of something that goes against it. But yeah, I just have to give it a shout because, like I said, it was the first one that I owned, or at least I felt ownership of, and that obviously opened the floodgates, whether it was Pokemon or the rest of my gaming history. That's the one I always gravitate over. Like, yep, that was the beginnings for me. Obviously, we talked about like playing this here, playing this there, whether it was other locations or however the Sega CD and the PC worked out. Obviously the PC wasn't mine; it was the family PC. But yeah, this is where Square One was for me. So yeah, shout out to Pokemon Silver.
That's great. I'm going to, since my list is not in any particular order, I'm going to just go ahead and pull my Pokemon game in as well because I've got a
Cool.
Pokemon game on here. It is Pokemon Platinum.
Mm.
Um, so a little bit later, I definitely wasn't playing this as a little kid unless I time traveled. Um, I was playing this, I think my freshman year of high school or like eighth grade, I was playing Pokemon Platinum. And it represented a shift for me because I played Pokemon Gold and I skipped over Ruby and Sapphire. And I didn't play any of the Pokemon games up until I didn't play Diamond or Pearl. I just played Platinum. My friends were like, no, trust me, Diamond and Pearl are sick. You gotta try it out. And then Platinum came out, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And that was the first Pokemon where I really found like my Pokemon identity, where like I was like I had an all ground team. I
Mm.
had Mamoswine and stuff. I really found some Pokemon that I really enjoyed. So that really got me back into the series, and playing it as a bit of an older kid was definitely a much better experience than like I don't know, going into a cave with no flash as a young kid and trying to bumble your way around or just doing stupid things as a little kid that you would do when you had a Game Boy and trying to play Pokemon for the first time.
Nice. Next one. We've talked about a little bit as well, but I'm going to say Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. It's another Game Boy Advance
Mm.
title. Give that a shout. I think this one really gravitated for me, or helped define, because of two different things. One, the character customization that it offered. Granted, not in terms of like a visual standpoint for like, oh, I can customize the hair, the attire, whatever. The job system in Tactics Advance really resonated with me. Of, you have like 6 different races of characters: your humans, your Moogles, your Vera, your Bonga, your Numu. Maybe it's only 5. Somebody's gonna yell at me about what the 6th one is, but you have these different races, and then from there they all have their own job trees of like, these are your more offensive characters, so they're going to have more attacky stuff. These are your magic wielders, they're going to do this. So as a kid, it was interesting because you have to learn, obviously, team balance. Hey, you need a healer, even though he can't do a lot of damage. Hey, you need to strategize of where you're going to put your characters. Hit them from the side, hit them from the back. You're going to do more damage. But then with the jobs, based on their equipment, they would learn skills. So they have that skill once you equip a random rod, so they can do fire, thunder, blizzard with a basic rod. The more they use that skill or the battles they participate in, eventually they can like permanently unlock that skill as they learned it. Then you could swap out a new rod. Okay, this one has fire, so you can do more damage with your fire. And you keep mixing and matching like equipment in there to have them learn stuff so they get more efficient at their job. Then you realize, oh shit, if I invest in this job, I can unlock a new job and they can learn even more shit. And then it becomes this whole like puzzle mechanic too. So if I want, for the humans, for example, if I want a ninja, I need to invest in thief, I think it was. So you train up a guy in thief, then you switch him over, now it can be a ninja. And then I don't think the humans had an assassin. I think that was Vera's. So I'm going to switch over to there for a minute. So if you wanted her to be an assassin, she had to have fencer abilities and she had to have archer abilities. So then you're mixing them together and then it gets you something new. And it's like, oh my God. And they don't tell you this. So it's just like you're mixing and matching and slowly figuring out. It was insane with the jobs. And I really like that. And it's one of the reasons why I feel like other tactics games that I've tried hasn't fully resonated. Like I talked about the Evil East Chronicles recently. I want that to click, but whenever I try it, I'm like, there's no, this race isn't in here, so I can't have these jobs, and it's just these. I'm like, it's just humans. Shit. So it doesn't click fully with me. But along with that, the story I really, really liked. It was just some kids that one kid was new to town and he was getting bullied, and he becomes friends with these other kids in class, and they just love Final Fantasy together. And then that night, spooky shit happens, and they go like get teleported into the Final Fantasy world. And then it's like this conflict of interest of you want to escape and get back to reality while your friends are like, nah, this place is awesome, we want to stay here. So you're like dealing with like the guilt of like, they really like it here and their lives are better, but I want to get home to my brother who's sick. And it's like, ugh. So absolutely loved it. It's a game that stuck with me throughout. Like I never beat it as a kid, but once I started streaming, I was like, yep, this is something I'm going to do. Played it all the way through, and seeing it through, it was just like, it just added more to it. So it's a big one. It's a big one. What do you got next?
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to comment on that as well, and just say, especially with you not having the internet as a kid, obviously.
Oh, right.
Or maybe
yeah.
you did have the internet, but you didn't have it readily available. You had to maybe use dial up and stuff. It was definitely a different time to child all those jobs. They were all surprising and stuff. Where now I'm sure there would be a list and you could
Right.
spoil it really easily and things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. I guess for me next, I'll just go with Age of Empires DS, only because it's another game that I've talked about on stream before or on the podcast before, but it is another game that's I feel like mirrors your Final Fantasy Tactics. We're really going band for band here. um, I don't know. I just love. I could gush about this game all day. I love this game so much. I still, some of my fondest gaming memories are being in my friend's living room and having all four of us playing Age of Empires DS all together. Everybody having, just like in Super Smash Brothers, where everybody had their character, everybody had their race of people
Mm-hmm.
that we would choose. And I remember I was a big history nerd as well in ninth grade when I was playing this game. So they actually have a library in the game on the DS card where you can go through and read
Oh.
And this is the first time that I actually heard about Genghis Khan. Actually, was in Age of Empires DS. I read about Genghis Khan, and then I did a history report on him later on that year in
Perfect.
school because I was like, "Oh, he's pretty cool." I mean, the murder part was not cool, but
Well, yeah.
yeah. From a speculative history standpoint, it was really cool. So, got me into real world history that game, and playing with friends. And it was one of those games where it was only $10, and you had the hot pass. So like I said, I still remember going through and taking bus trips and stuff with church, and just having my DS, and then I would just pass it off to someone else, and they would play a turn, and we could all play together just on the one DS that I had. So it's just a fantastic game for that multiplayer aspect of it, and also just because. Uh, of the system itself. I really did enjoy I guess I didn't realize it was an Advance Wars clone, but it is an Advance Wars style game.
Huh.
I really like how you can you like make little buildings, and then you can create units. You like build the units up from the buildings and send them out. So battles can go on for quite a long time. We used to do this thing where we would play the Four Corners map, because there's only so many maps. You couldn't make maps or anything like that, and like you could in Advance Wars. So there's only so many maps, but there's a Four Corners map where everybody basically starts off on an island, and then there's like a middle section, and there's bridges, and you could basically make a castle right on the edge of the bridge, and it was like impossible to for someone to cross, because then they had to blow up your whole castle, and you could fit like four guys in the castle, and you could just keep spamming them. So it was really fun, all the different techniques and stuff we came up with. Just really love it, and shout out to Joan of Arc and the Franks because they were the best, number one always. For sure. Love that game. We'll always love it. And that is probably the reason my name is Turn-Based TJ is because of that game in particular.
Very cool. Moving on to my next one is a more recent title. But I'm going to give it to Hades 1. I was late to the party with Hades. Everybody was talking about it when it first came out. And then I finally gave it a try when it dropped on PlayStation. And to say I was instantly hooked would be an understatement. Man, what a great game. Got me into roguelites. I'm sure it got many of us into roguelikes / lights. Whether it was Enter the Gungeon, whether it was, of course, why did I start making a list and then forget everything? Whether it was Ball Pit, whether it was, all these other games that have those game mechanics. Hades was the one that really got its teeth into me. It didn't feel like a punishment like most games do. When it is you die, you have to redo this thing all the way from the beginning, with the gradual growth over time of Zagreus and the upgrades, and as well as the story still progressing with his deaths and those resets. I think that's what really hooked me and made it feel like not the worst experience ever of dying left, right, and center.
Right.
So yeah, that absolutely love that game. I feel like I could jump into it at any point. I mean, I'm going through Hades 2 right now, which has similar feels, but I'm limiting myself there, keeping it on stream. Like, I feel like if that was something I was playing off stream, that would be taking up the time, any free time, similar to how Ball Pit has recently, of like, yep, just going to dive into this. I'm going to let the hours melt away, and I'm going to be enjoying every single second of it. So yeah, Hades, excellent title. Thank you, Supergiant. Go ahead.
Yeah, great game, absolutely. I'll pull a modern game as well. I'm gonna go with good old fashioned Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Elden Ring is a game that is near and dear to my heart because when I was going through the worst time in my depression and mental health struggles and things like that, Elden Ring was there for me. I played it like 770 hours or something. It's one of the only games where I played it through all the way. It took me like probably I played it through blind, so it probably took me like over 100 hours, like 120 hours or something, because I was not very good. I kept dying to bosses and stuff. But it's one of the only games even after all that time and everything, I was like, I gotta play it again. I gotta reroll a new character. I gotta try it again. And I've just played it over and over again with so many different characters. I've gotten to the point now where I've had to delete characters because you can only have 10 characters at a time, much to my chagrin. So I've had to go through and delete characters just to make room for new ones. and it's been worth it though every time because Elden Ring is always a fun time. I joke that I don't have a Switch 2, but I will some at some point. But the only reason I'm gonna get a Switch 2 is just for the reason that would have to start Elden Ring over again because I would have to have a new save file, so I'd have to start from scratch. And I just love that game. I like permanently remember where items and parts of the map are in that game now, just because it is like my dream game. Like the combat is so good, but also it's so open. You can go anywhere and stuff. Like it really, I still can't believe that game exists in the state that it does. I could go on and on, but Elden Ring is just super fun. And I haven't even really delved into the multiplayer side of things because that's not really my style.
Hmm.
So I've put all that time in just in single player, just having fun with new builds and new items and stuff. And yeah, I could play it. Honestly, we're talking about it. I'm probably gonna go start a new Elden Ring playthrough. So we should probably move on to a new game before I I jump in back into it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things of us hanging out last year was us just playing that together and just being like, all right, we're gonna go and speed run to this dragon thing. Just me watching you be like, oh yeah, go over here, do this. Okay, now we're gonna go this way. Now we're gonna navigate that. It was just like, this is awesome to see how much you loved that game and just like had all that knowledge and experience. Like really, even for me, because it was something that didn't click right away, enjoyed aspects of it, but that made me more excited, was hearing your genuine excitement and knowledge of it. It was just like, oh shit, yeah, this is something special.
Yeah, it's a very special game.
All right, quick one for me. uh Connects to Extra Life, but Halo 3. I want to give a quick shout out to Halo 3. A lot of our multiplayer memories are probably entwined with Halo 3. A lot of good times playing that, whether it was the campaigns. Don't look at me. No, I wasn't doing Legendary and hating my existence, but shout out for you if you did. Enjoyed the campaign for what it was. Enjoyed the little bonuses of the skulls that you could find and the goofy ones of like melee a grunt or kill a grunt and little confetti pops up and whatever. That was fun, but the multiplayer takes the cake here. A lot of good memories there. Playing with friends, whether it was me dying left, right, and center, just on Forge maps or whatever, or the creativity of seeing what people could create in Forge with like the mongoose races, the different zombie modes that people were making in there. It's something that I hold dearly in my heart for when it was in its heyday, I guess you could say, of playing with people, but then also translating it to game days and extra lives of like, hey, let's get together and do a LAN party, and having 3 to 4 TVs set up of 12 to 16 players all shouting at each other across the house for something silly that happened. I'm really, really glad that I get to bring it back to Extra Life this year. I know I keep plugging this, so I do apologize, but I'm really forward. We haven't done it in a few years just because technology, has crapped itself, but I'm glad I've gotten it working. And I'm excited to have it back in the foray this year. It should be insanity.
Yeah, absolutely. Halo 3. I feel like anybody our age, multiplayer wise, that game is just like peak. It's absolutely incredible. Um, I realize I don't have any first person shooters on my list now that I think about it. Um, I'll go back to another nostalgia bait game though for me. My favorite Legend of Zelda, well, actually, not my favorite Legend of Zelda game, but a Legend of Zelda game that shaped me the most, which is the Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass on the DS. Um, that game is a little controversial because of the controls. You have to use the stylus to move Link around and to swipe
uh,
to attack. So it's a little bizarre there, but I just had so much fun with that game. That's one of the first Zelda games that I really beat all the way through without using a guide of any kind. I really just did it with my own wits. I remember there's this one puzzle, in fact, that had me so frustrated I couldn't figure out what to do. So I closed the DS and walked away and came back and I opened the DS again and the puzzle was solved because you had to stamp something from the top to the bottom
oh
of the screen.
wow, okay.
So that was a great experience. And just some nostalgia on my end where like I just remember playing this game in the bonus room with the Scrubs rewind on, watching Scrubs, playing Phantom Hourglass. I think I had the first Cage the Elephant album
Hmm.
just come out, so I was listening to the first Cage the Elephant album, playing Phantom Hourglass, just good times. It's maybe not the best Zelda game of all time, but it's definitely one near and dear to my heart. It's definitely formative for me. And the sequel, Spirit Tracks, I didn't think was as good. I thought it was just okay, but Phantom Hourglass is always going to hold a special place in my heart.
Nice. All right, next one for me. Looking at it, I know why it's on the list, but I'm not sure if it's more of a favorite in comparison to a define. So I'm a little shaky on it. I was between two, but I'm gonna go with Tony Hawk American Wasteland. Um, Pro Skater 2 has a lot of fond memories for me. I didn't own it, but it was always like a staple at friends' houses to play, and I really enjoyed that. American Wasteland was similar to how I talked about Tactics earlier. Like my first Tony Hawk, I feel like it was mine. I owned it. Learning all the mechanics in there, and then bringing it to the others because they do such a good job of like, yep, this works here, it's going to work there. They share everything game mechanic wise. But the reason I like American Wasteland so much, once again, is story. They had a lot of goofy and zany characters in this. The main concept is you are moving from Kentucky, you move to LA, and everybody bullies you, and you kind of get involved with this like ragtag group of skaters. And the main guy who kind of takes you in gets arrested, and your whole thing is getting him out of jail legally, kind of, where you're like, oh, well, we could charge people to come to our skate park, and you're doing missions around Los Angeles and other cities where you're taking things from the city, like this monument they're not going to use anymore. Oh, we can take that, or we'll steal these Hollywood stars and we'll use them. And you're just slowly building this skate park in this essentially just a trash like dump. And it was really cool because the missions are really goofy, but then like I said, every time you go back to this dump, you can just slowly see the park building around you, and you can experiment with it and have fun. I have a great time. Always had a great time playing it. Initially played it on PlayStation 2, and when I saw that it had an Xbox 360 port or version, I immediately had to grab it. It's one of those dream titles. I'm like, I wish they would remaster it. I doubt it's ever going to happen, just because there's other titles that are probably more popular in the general populace. So I'm like, the nostalgia's there. But yeah, American Wasteland, just want to give it a shout because that was a special one for me. A lot of good times.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about special games and things like that. I'll definitely go back to one that's very special game to me. I mentioned it on your podcast before, but or not your podcast, your stream. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
we're on the podcast, on your stream. But Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. I know we both have fond memories with this game. Um, I bought a Wii. Well, I didn't buy a Wii because I didn't have money because I was in eighth grade. But I I had my parents buy a Wii for Marvel Ultimate Alliance specifically. It wasn't Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart or anything like that that got me to get a Wii
Wii
or Wii
bowling.
Sports.
Damn it.
It wasn't Wii Bowling. It was Marvel Ultimate Alliance because I had a GameCube and they were really advertising the heck out of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I don't know if I saw it in a comic book or in a game magazine or something, but I just remember seeing it being like, "What? You could have Spider-Man fight with Wolverine?" And I had to play that game, so finally got on the Wii, and man, was I not disappointed. That game was incredible. And even though it did have Wii motion controls, which let's not go there, you didn't have to use them. They actually, even though it was one of the launch games for the Wii, you didn't really have to use the motion controls if you didn't want to. You could just use the buttons, and the control scheme is simple enough where you can, as long as you have a nunchuck, you can play the game pretty normally, which was great. That game got me into the Marvel universe a lot more than I ever thought I would be able to. It expanded my horizons. It made me learn about different Marvel characters and things like that. So that game is great. I remember I was so obsessed with it, like a whole summer basically. I would run down. I even had a little song that said Ultimate Alliance," and I would just run down and I would play that game for like 6 hours a day. Um, I even this was back when we had flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a little flip phone with a terrible camera that probably has like 6 pixels on it. And I would try and take pictures of the loading screens because the loading screens were so cool
Yep.
in Ultimate Alliance, and I would try and put that as my wallpaper. So I remember loading into the Mandarin's castle specifically because it was the longest load time. So I'll keep loading this mission and trying to get a picture of just right of some of the load screens. So I absolutely love that game. That game introduced me to Moon Knight, for example, which is one of my favorite superheroes of all time now. And Captain America became one of my favorite superheroes of all time because of Ultimate Alliance as well. Because if you just show me a picture of Captain America, I'd be like, that seems kind of lame. But playing in the game where you can like throw his shield and stuff, I was like, this guy's awesome. So yeah, really Ultimate Alliance one of the best, in my opinion, just one of the best games of all time. One of my favorite games of all time, and definitely a game that defined me.
Yeah, amazing shout. That game kicks so much ass. There's a lot of things I can echo of like the knowledge of the Marvel universe. I remember that, yeah, Winter Soldier, learning about him, Loki, learning about him, like, and they're just the library of like, who the fuck is that? like, like Winter Soldier was one of those. That was like, okay, and then seeing obviously what he's become in the MCU is like, oh, yep, now I get it. But he was just like a nobody in the first one. Um, Such an amazing game. Another one that I would love a re-release, but I don't think it's gonna get it. I think they had a short run PS4 era because I've seen it posted places, but I think they took it down. And I'm like, fuck, why didn't I grab it? I'm lucky enough to have a copy for Xbox 360, but damn, yeah, those three titles are fantastic. And then the X-Men Legend games that came prior to them. You talked about the loading screens. That was something with X-Men Legends. I was like, oh, these are so cool, because whenever you encounter new characters, they would then get a loading screen. It's like, oh, just mind blowing. So
Yeah,
great shout.
absolutely. Hold on to that 360 copy
Oh, I
for
yeah,
your dear
nope,
life because
never letting it go.
they delisted it off of Steam and everything. You can't even buy it on the computer. So
Thanks a lot. Is it an Activision title? Is that why it's all tied up in stuff? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. It's Ravensoft, right? Made the game, but
Right, which I think has been absorbed into Activision. I don't know.
who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next one for me, Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10. A lot of fond memories here. The reason I put it on my defined me list is I feel like this got me back into fighting games. I know I've talked about Marvel's Capcom quite a bit on here as being probably the first, but I feel like MKX, along with Maximilian Dude and Yo Video Games, shout out to them, this was like an important title to make me look at Street Fighter more, look at Guilty Gear more, look at Tekken more, and like really try and understand what the game was doing and how you can do combos and more powerful sequences and strings of moves instead of just hit everything and hope that it works. Not that, I'm going to Evo or anything like that. No, I will never be that competitive player, but at least wanting to get some of that knowledge, asking friends who are more in the competitive scene, shout out to Dio, shout out to Danny, trying to pick up on these things, learn it, and really just expand my library of fighting games from there. I just absolutely love that title, and it holds that special place because, like I said, it's just like, oh, I really love this, and then wanted to learn more. Like, I would never know what Killer Instinct was without Mortal Kombat X and what that door it opened to me. And KI on Xbox One. I don't remember the year, but like that was one of my favorite fighting games ever. And the counter mechanics in that, and just the cool characters that they had and whatnot. So yeah, MKX was just a door opener. So I got to give that a shout.
Great. That's gonna bring me into my next game, which is Mortal Kombat X.
Hey!
Hey, we finally have a cross one. Um, yeah, a lot of fond memories as well. I remember playing this game with you,
Mm-hmm.
in particular, and you dragged me kicking and screaming into Mortal Kombat X. I'm just kidding. You were like, "Hey, we should play this game," and I was like, "Yes." I think we actually went to
We
Walmart
went to
and bought the
Walmart and
game.
Impulse bought it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, we should play this game together. So, or you were like, we should play this game together. So I went and bought it. I bought the XL version, and man, it was I had zero regrets. I became so obsessed with it. I was even downloading the app. They had like a Mortal Kombat game app,
Yep.
and I was playing that game app. I remember I was working at IKEA at the time, and I was on my break, sitting in an IKEA chair, just playing Mortal Kombat, just because I was like, itching to get back home. Like, man, I can't wait till I can get back home and play Mortal Kombat. For a lot of the similar reasons that you listed, uh, it it didn't really get me into fighting games, but it got me more into combos and stuff like that. Like I remember pausing the game and like learning the combos. I think that was one of the first games where, and I'm probably wrong, but it's the first game I noticed at least where you could pause and it had like the quick menu of like attacks that you could do on the
Yep.
side. And I don't know if you could pin them or not, but I just remember learning a bunch of different combos and stuff. It was one of the first times that I remember like being in the matrix of a fighting game where I'm like, oh, he's gonna do this move, so I can back up and do this move, or I can do that. And really thinking about the different moves that you're gonna do instead of just mashing buttons and stuff. So Mortal Kombat X is definitely, and it's my favorite in the franchise, so it definitely holds a special place in my heart, but also just a great game overall.
Hell yeah. You alluded to Elden Ring, or not alluded, you said Elden Ring earlier. I'm going to shout out Lies of P. Because Souls-like has been something, the Dark Souls, Bloodborne specifically, has been something I'm like, from a distance, I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. Like, I'm the little kid looking in the window outside, like, oh, that looks so cool. The world looks great. The beast looks cool that you fight. And then you play it, and you're like, I am getting destroyed left, right, and center. So I dipped my toes into that genre with Bloodborne. Sekiro I really enjoyed and got decently far into. But Lies of P was the first one I've played start to finish and completed. And it will always have that special spot in my heart of like, yes, I did it. So conquering that challenge, that mountain with just the game difficulty first off, but then I'm like a freaking tape recorder today. The story that was involved in Lies of P, just that was what kept me going when the King of Puppets was killing me for 3 hours. That story what was making me keep going, keep pushing, get to the freaking Laxasia, have another 4 hours with her. Nope, I'm almost here. I'm gonna beat you, Laxasia. I don't care how many lightning bolts are gonna throw down on my ass. Absolutely loved it. And then what pushed it over the edge and may eventually make it onto like a favorite list is the post-credit sequence, which I'm not going to talk about because people need to play Lies of P. Oh, I didn't mean like pointing at you. Like the general, people play Lies of P. The post-game sequence scene. Oh, chef's kiss. Got so excited for whatever Round 8 and NeoWiz has planned for in the future. If Souls games are not your thing, they have released, along with the DLC, a modifier to gameplay where you can tone things down and it is more approachable that way. So whether you want to play it fully in that easier mode, do that. If you want to dip your toes in the easier mode and then challenge yourself later on, do that. More people need to play this game and see what they got cooking. Because holy crap. Very excited for the DLC. I'm very angry at myself that I've waited this long to play it, but excited for that. Excited for future projects. Please go play Lies of P.
Yeah, I'm glad that broke you into the Souls-like genre because it is an incredible genre to play. Even though it can be frustrating, it's so rewarding once you do finally beat those bosses. There's no other way to describe beating a boss that you've been hitting your head against the wall on unless you've just done it. When you finally beat that boss, you're like, oh my gosh, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like such a good accomplishment. Um, a game that doesn't feel like a good accomplishment though is No More Heroes 2.
Oh,
Desperate Struggle for me. Um, this was an era for me when I only had the Wii. I had that Wii because of Ultimate Alliance, but all my friends had 360s and PlayStation 3s, and all I had was the Wii. And I was really looking for any game that was like a hardcore game, a hardcore experience, because I'm like a teenager at this point. I've burned through uh, Twilight Princess and like Metroid Prime 3, so I'm just like looking for any hardcore experience on the Wii. They're very far and few between, but No More Heroes, baby. Those games were pretty good. They're very juvenile now when I look back at them. Um, to charge up your sword, you do like a wanking motion, and to save the game, you go to the bathroom. So they're very juvenile and silly, and he's like a very horny character, lusting after like the girl who's setting up the stuff. But I don't know, something about that game. It was really cool. I got really into it. A lot of the characters are really cool. It really got me into like third person action games more, which would lead me into playing more games like Devil May Cry later on and things like that. I just thought it was awesome. All the mini games in that game were really fantastic. And it had a really cool boss rush mode, which the bosses in that game are actually really incredible. Even though it's juvenile, if you can find an unlocked copy with just the boss rush mode, there's none of the juvenile stuff in the bosses. Like they actually take the bosses very seriously for some reason.
okay.
Um, but they're really cool. There's like a spaceman and like a mech fight and like all these really cool boss fights and stuff. So I really enjoyed the boss rush mode and getting better at difficult bosses. And maybe that's what helped me be good at Souls-like games later on, because I would just learn these boss patterns and stuff. So No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle. Got to give a shout out to that game.
Nice. Next for me is Overwatch. Halo I talked about earlier with the online game mechanic, but Overwatch, it kind of surprised me. It was the time, 2015, 2016, whenever it launched first. Didn't think I was going to get into it. I think it was that and Battleborn were launching at the same time. RIP Battleborn. He barely made it. But Overwatch caught a fire. I think what really hooked me was the amount of characters that there were, and the fact that there were a lot that were enticing to play. I mean, granted, gravitated towards Widowmaker, gravitated towards Lucio, those ended up being my main two, but I felt like that was a game where I felt more enticed to try different people. Like, with at least the base game of Overwatch 1, I think I've pretty much played all of them for at least a few minutes, a couple matches, and most of them for a few hours. Granted, with Overwatch 2 and the gap of time, that hasn't held up, but there was a lot of hours that have been put into Overwatch, whether it was solo queuing or playing with friends. Always loved sharing that experience with them. Just hanging out, playing. If we won, we won. If we didn't, at least it was chaotic and competitive. We never got into like ranked play or anything like that, and I don't think I ever will, just because comms are not for me. I do not need people shouting left, right, and center anything or judging my gameplay. Like, yeah, if I have an off match, I get it. I'm sucking. You don't need to tell me I'm doing that. But it was always nice to put it in your head too, and it's more of a petty thing of like, oh, there's a Widowmaker on the field. All right, 1v1 Widowmaker. Like, that's my goal. I'm going to be taking care of you. And then that little rush of like those small accomplishments, whether it is that specific thing of me sniping, I took care of the snipers, or as Lucio, it was always the biggest rush. Booping people, pushing them off the map, just knowing the places I could do it, skating there as fast as I can. There was one map where it's a control point and it's kind of off to the side, but the three edges or three sides are emptiness, are not play zone, and you can push people off there, knowing at the beginning of the match, all right, if I take this path, zoom, 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 I can wait, get a chunk, poof, and just buff them off the map. So satisfying. But I absolutely loved this game. played it on Xbox One. I played it a little bit on PC, played it on PlayStation, numerous hours across all three platforms. Really got into esports as well from Overwatch, which is something I never thought I would enjoy, but watching competitive Overwatch and the Overwatch League was something I was into for a little while. It was something I absolutely loved, and I'd still be playing it today. I have dipped my toes back into it. TJ and I have played together, and I've actually really enjoyed it because it's been like almost like a homecoming. Like he experienced it, like me just jumping into Widowmaker, like, this is bad, like home, and then like being right back into it with sniping people left, right, and center. But unfortunately, like that game took a turn with its development cycle from, okay, we're not going to have Overwatch 1 anymore. Overwatch 2 is just going to simply like overwrite it. And then the promises that Blizzard had made to us of like, we're going to do single player stuff because people want more of the lore that we tease in these videos and whatnot. And then canceling that, it was just like, it left a lot of sour taste in my mouth. And it sucked losing it or stepping away from it. But I have to at least give it a shout of like, yeah, that was something that really got me into, once again, like I said, playing different characters with different play styles. Never thought I would be a sniper character or gravitate towards them, but with Widowmaker, with Hanzo, with Anna, with Ashe, it's made me in other games be like, yeah, I want to try these more accurate played characters or accuracy based characters and see what I can do with that instead of just like, yeah, I'm going to pick the machine gun guy and go, yeah, it was nice to try some new stuff. So, yep. Overwatch, baby.
Very cool. That made me realize I don't have any multiplayer games on here besides Super Smash Brothers. So that was the one, and that's notably because my next game is going to be the genre that's really also defined me. But that game being Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and that being single player RPG games. Played a lot of single player RPG games. Really love them from games like The Witcher and stuff like that. But Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning was really a special game. Really helped me get into that genre. It's probably one of my favorites in the genre still to this day. It's still a great game. I remember going to the midnight release of that game and then dragging my Xbox over to my friend's house, and we had opposite TVs from each other, and we were both playing the game at the same time, rushing through it. I was a really big fan of R.A. Salvatore when I was in middle school. He is a fantasy author for Dungeons and Dragons, and I didn't even know what Dungeons and Dragons was, but I knew that I liked his writing. He wrote some really cool stuff. I believe it was 1000 Orcs was the book that really got me into him. But yeah, so him writing in the game was excellent. I still think it has one of the coolest game stories. I think it's really underrated, and I love the art style and combat system in that game. The combat system in that game is excellent, and they had to put in the story mode that you could like change your class at any time you wanted with like the whole fate thing. It was called like fate. I don't remember. We're not going to get into it, but basically, you could change your fate at any time, which was you could change your class at any time, which is now a staple amongst games. But really, at the time, they put it in the story mode because it was so unique, because it was so cool that you could just up and change your class whenever you felt like it. And I don't know, it was just a really great game. I love Kings of Amalur Reckoning. I wish they would make a sequel. They did make the Re-Reckoning, which was like a HD upgraded port of it, which is great. I've got to get it for the Switch, so I can play it all over again, but for like the sixth or seventh time. But it's they really need a sequel for it though, like a proper sequel instead of just an HD remaster.
Last but not least for me, I'm going to go back to the Game Boy Advance one more time. And I want to shout out Super Mario World. Oh, man. This is another one. This might have been one of those first games that I put 100 hours plus into. I mean, there's a few titles on there that I think broke that barrier. But I wanted to give this a shout. Platformers is probably one of my favorite. So there's that in general. But the biggest thing that I think helps in terms of the define me thing is it helped me figure out not everything's as it seems. And there's a lot of secrets sometimes in games that the developers hide. and you should really be aware and explore and not just put your head down and kind of go from point A to point B sometimes. Like, you should take in everything. And Super Mario World, there's so many secrets in that game. And I remember as a kid stumbling upon these most of the time, like at least early on, finding something and it being so rewarding. I know my favorite one that I always found was there was a secret area. It was a secret entrance for one of the ghost mansions. And if you found that and beat the level a different way, it unlocked this little hill that you could go to. And it was just 5 item boxes. 2 on one side were fire flowers, 2 on the other side were the little feathers for the cape, and the center one was a Yoshi. And you could get your power-ups, you get your Yoshi, but then if you went back in there, you could still get your power-ups from the sides, but if you did the Yoshi egg, you got a 1-up. So I remember just looping that son of a bitch over and over again, getting 100 lives, or 99 rather. And then I was like, all right, world's my oyster. Let's go. I never felt like super pressure there. But because of that discovery, and then maybe 1 or 2 others, I was always like, okay, we got to get a cape and we got to fly around this bitch and see if we can find anything, or really look for keys for doors, or what does this POW block do? Okay, it lets me access this thing, and really start hunting and diving. And I always felt really rewarded when I did that and I could find something that, we made a little separate path that you weren't even supposed to go on. You could eventually go to a warp star, and then you could go and like fast travel to the other worlds. Just wanted to shout that out because it was really, like I said, rewarding for me as a player, and then just helped me be like, yeah, stop and smell the roses. Look around. Maybe you'll get rewarded by something. So that's the last one on my list.
That's classic. I don't want to end mine on kind of a downer, but I don't have like the most to talk about this game. I just really enjoyed it. And that's going to be Fire Emblem Awakening. That's a game that saved the franchise. And it's the game that got me into the franchise. So I'd never played Fire Emblem before Fire Emblem Awakening. So playing it on the 3DS, man, I really enjoyed the tactical combat. I didn't really enjoy the some of the, what do you call it? Romancing parts of the game that you could do, but the combat was so good in that game. And there's so many cool things that they haven't even done since, where like if you put characters next to each other, they could fight together as a unit, or you could like stack two units together on the same tile and they could fight together as a unit and stuff. And you could build bonds and everything like that. And man, I just really fell in love with the combat in that game. It led me to go back and play Paths of Radiance and Sacred Stones and a bunch of other Fire Emblem games. And yeah, if you've never played a Fire Emblem game, I still recommend people go back and play Awakening. It might awaken a, a love for Fire Emblem in you like it did for me. Great game. Unfortunately, it is locked to the 3DS, but if you're fortunate enough to have a 3DS, then it's definitely worth a shot.
Mm.
Um,
Nice. Do you want to read through our list one more time of our 10?
Oh, I deleted them as I was talking about them.
No worries. Well, review for me. I had WWE 2K / SmackDown vs. Raw. I had Pokemon Silver, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Hades, Halo 3, Tony Hawk, American Wasteland, Mortal Kombat X, Liza P, Overwatch, and Super Mario World.
Let me push undo 10 times.
There you go. Technology.
I had Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1, Super Smash Bros. 64, Elden Ring, Mortal Kombat X, No More Heroes 2, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, Age of Empires DS, Fire Emblem Awakening, The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, and Pokemon Platinum.
Hell yeah. Very cool. Yeah, let's go. No, guys, what games do you think define you? In the comments below.
Perfect. And now I know we've been waxing poetic about games for quite a while now, but just real quick, what game are you looking forward to right now, Brett?
I'd like to give a shout to a game called Unbeatable. Unbeatable is a stunning hand-drawn, anime-inspired rhythm adventure game. Experience what it means to be a band on the run. Music is illegal in this world, but you won't let that stop you. Follow Beat and her bandmates through their journey of self-discovery, blending live song performances, spectacular set pieces, and quirky rhythm minigames. Explore a detailed open world and engage in branching conversations with several unique characters, featuring a 100% original soundtrack alongside guest tracks and music collaborations. Yeah, it's been on my radar for a little bit. I can't remember if it was the 6-1 Indie Showcase at some point that showed off this game. I believe it was. Or where I had seen it. But it was one that had a very cool art style, and then music is very important to this game. Had a very jammin' soundtrack, and I was like, ooh, that looks like it'll be up my alley. It was actually supposed to release this week. Unfortunately, it has been delayed due to some QA issues until December 9th. But there is a demo out on at least the PlayStation side of things. It is coming to Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation, so you probably have demos there too. But yeah, it was something I was like, I'll probably try the demo first, but I didn't want it to be like, hey, I played this, and I'm also looking forward to the future, so I figured I would just keep it for the future now. But yeah, December 9th, Unbeatable.
Cool. That sounds like a really cool game. I'm gonna have to check that out. Even though I'm not very good with music games, I'll have to see what it's like. That sounds pretty cool. For my game, I'm gonna dip back into nostalgia again, even though this is a game coming out for a system I do not own. But that is Kirby Air Riders.
Oh,
I love Kirby Air Ride for the GameCube. I played that game so much, especially with City Trial. It's one of the few games that I played with my sister, where she was able to actually keep up with us and my cousins and stuff like that. And there was like four of us all playing Kirby Air Ride and City Trial all at the same time. And we would play that mode over and over and over again for hours and hours, and it was fantastic. So I hope the new Kirby Air Riders has a City Trial mode. I'm sure Sakurai will not let us down with that. Um, but we'll have to see. Even if it's just the racing, though, I really did enjoy the racing as well. The racing aspect is super good. I've always liked Kirby Air Ride more than Mario Kart, so that's my Diddy Kong racing, as it were, of racing games is Kirby Air Ride. So I really hope this next one is good, and hopefully I'll eventually get a Switch 2 and I'll be able to play it.
nice. Did you watch the direct for that?
I did not actually, even though I'm super hyped for it. I
Fair enough.
did they allude to a city trial in there or?
I didn't watch it either. The only takeaway I had from it is there's a gerbil who runs real fast.
Hey, that's pretty cool. I'm excited to learn all the different boards again and stuff too. Because I remember I'd be like, "Oh, that's the bird board. It's really good at flying, but it's not very good on the ground." And like, that's this board. So learning all the different boards and stuff too is always very fun.
Cool. Very nice.
Cool. And that's going to do it for the Relatively Gaming podcast. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Well, I really appreciate it. Like I said, if you have any comments, like any topics or anything like that you'd like us to discuss, put them in the comments below. And thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. You have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.